All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Homewood-Flossmoor Vikings baseball broadcast. I'm Dylan Barnes. I'm going to be calling this game and all others throughout the season, both home and away. As you see, this one is at Crete-Monee High School, the second of the Vikings' third road game in a row. They go to Lane Tech tomorrow. But today, the Vikings are 10-11. They're coming off of a 7-3 win in Lockport yesterday, after Lockport beat them at the Vikings' home turf on Monday. Crete is 10-5, but they've had some success recently. They've won 3 in a row. The Vikings looking to get back to 500 today. On the mound for the Crete-Monee Warriors is the righty Zachary Hannigan. His battery mate is Kiwan Springfield. Around the infield is Jermail Bailey at third, Bren Milburn at short, Kyle Richardson at second, and Vontrez Banks at first. But leading things off today for the Vikings, as he has in all games since coming back from injury, is the center fielder, Dylan Head. Head was the sole reason the Vikings won at Lockport yesterday. Head went 2 for 3 with 2 RBI triples. Had 3 RBIs on the day and a walk. First pitch from Hannigan. Just popped up, out of play, foul down the third base side. So that's how this ball game is going to get underway. Hannigan winds the 0-1. It's hit in the air to right field. And a little trouble, and it's going to fall. Dylan Head's going to be waved around second, and he's going to be up on third, standing after an error out there in right center field between Samuel McCandles and Michael Leonard. Nearly collided. Looked like they did graze each other. But either way, it's going to be a leadoff triple. Well, E9. But either way, the Vikings have a runner on third with nobody out for Corey Mulling. Mulling went a very uncharacteristic 0 for 4 yesterday. He's been very hot the last 2 weeks. He takes first pitch strike from Hannigan. One is a breaking ball above the zone, a ball and a strike. Hannigan comes set. 1-1 to Mulling. That's above the zone yet again, 2-1. The Vikings looking to take an early lead here in this one. Dylan Head reached third base on an error out in right field. 2-1 from Hannigan. It's hit into left field. Monaghan back on it. He'll make the catch. Head's going to tag, and he's going to score easily. The Vikings take a 1-0 lead over the Crete-Monee Warriors in the top of the first, thanks to a Corey Mulling sacrifice fly.
Now batting number 5, Jason Ballard.
In steps the right fielder, Jason Ballard. Ballard was 1 for 4 with a run scored yesterday. He pops that first pitch from Hannigan down the first base line, foul. Ballard's still batting over 400 on the year, 404 after yesterday. Takes a breaking ball inside from Hannigan. Ballard has a team-leading 20 walks in only 21 games. A bit late on that fastball from Hannigan, fouled it back 1-2. trying to avoid being the second out of this top of the first inning. He's got a 1-2 count on him. The pitch from Hannigan is hit to first. Vontrez Banks will make the play for the second out of the top of the first inning. The ball was hit hard, but just right at Banks. And we saw last game against Lockport, you never know with those hard ground balls, they can hit a lip and jump right on over you, or just make it a bit more difficult to field.
Preston Lund.
Preston Lund, the catcher, went 2 for 4 yesterday with 2 singles. He'll take a ball outside from Hannigan. (1-0). It's tipped foul. 1-1. It's a good hack there by Lund. We saw Preston Lund make a great defensive play behind the plate yesterday. It was a ball that was short hopped way outside in the lefty's batter's box as he takes a breaking ball in for strike 2. But it was a fastball that Jack Berry skipped in the left-handed batter's box, and he dove to his left and then threw a runner out at third by about 5 steps. 1-2 from Hannigan. The fastball above the zone, ball 2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the first. Vikings already have a 1-0 lead thanks to Dylan Head's 3-base error and then Corey Mulling's sac fly. 2-2 to Lund. Breaking ball, fouled off. Count is still 2-2. The pitch. Corkscrewed, foul. Lund was way out in front of that one. That ball is still spinning. Count is still 2 balls and 2 strikes on the catcher Lund. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball, hit out into left field. That's going to be fouled just barely. I say just barely. It was about 10 feet foul. But if he had straightened that out, that would have at least been 2 bases. So the count is still 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2. That's just low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Lund trying to work a 2-out walk. He's had a good at-bat so far. Full count pitch. Popped on the infield. Shortstop Milburn calling for it. He'll make the play to end the top of the first inning. But the Vikings take a 1-0 lead over the Warriors thanks to some defensive miscues and a sac fly by Corey Mulling. So going into the bottom of the first, it's 1-0 Vikings. On the mound today for the Vikings is the lefty Brian Brooks. We've seen Brooks bounce from the bullpen to the starting rotation, as most pitchers in this Vikings pitching staff do. His last appearance was out of the bullpen. It was Tuesday against Sandburg. He went 2 scoreless innings, walked 2, and struck out 3. Didn't allow a hit. So hopefully that's a good sign for what's to come here in this one.
Now batting.
He'll face Bren Milburn.
Bren Milburn.
Shortstop will lead us off in the bottom of the first. So this is a Brian versus Bren matchup. Only 2 letters different of a name. That first pitch is up and out, ball 1. One and 0 is a count on Milburn. Now it's 2-0 as that one was skipped in the dirt. So 2 balls, no strikes on the shortstop Milburn. 2-0. That's in there for strike 1. Two 1 to Milburn. Fouled off first base side. Just narrowly missed hitting one of those cars out in the parking lot, thankfully. We saw Jason Ballard do that yesterday. He dented a roof of a car. 2-2 from Brooks. It's a breaking ball. Left it up and out. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's a full count pitch from Brooks. It's in the dirt. It's a leadoff walk for Bren Milburn. Brooks has struggled a bit with control in the past.
Kyle Richardson.
So now Kyle Richardson, the second baseman, will bat with a man on first base and nobody out in the bottom of the first. Still searching for that first hit of the game. Squared bunt, Richardson did. Pulled back as that one was in the dirt. Milburn got a little far off the base there. I'm surprised we didn't see Preston Lund try and backpick him. 1-0 from Brooks. There's a pickoff attempt.
You streaming for VTV? Yeah. I used to work at it.
1 ball and no strikes is a count. Squared bunt again. Pulled back as that one was inside. 2 balls and no strikes. So after a leadoff walk to Bren Milburn, Kyle Richardson has a 2-0 count on him. There's another pickoff attempt. Richardson squared again. Again, it was low. 3 balls and no strikes is the count. Brooks has to make sure that he's coming fully set because he's sort of flying through his pause. Takes off. Milburn does. That one was ball 4 anyway. So Milburn would have been given second base anyway. And it's back-to-back walks to start this ball game. So the Warriors have runners on first and second and nobody out for Michael Leonard, center fielder.
Michael Leonard.
Brooks comes set. First pitch to Leonard. It's another bunt that Leonard pulled back. 1 ball, no strikes. Two-0 is at the knees for strike 1. It's the first strike Brooks has thrown in 6 pitches. Had thrown 6 consecutive balls to Milburn and Richardson. The count is even now, a ball and a strike. That's in there for strike 2. So as Trent Roseborough goes down the right field line to warm up, Brian Brooks saw that and said, not so fast. He's got a 1-2 count on Michael Leonard. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first. 1-2 pitch. Tipped foul. 1-2 still. An out here would be big because then the double play ball ends the inning. We've seen Brooks induce a few of those this year. Not as many as Evan Nieder with his sinking fastball. 1-2. That's popped foul yet again. Still a ball and 2 strikes. So now Lund will go out to chat with Brooks. I believe this is just going to be a sign stealing thing because Milburn is on second base, so he could be potentially picking up on Lund's signs and then relaying it to Leonard at the plate. It was brief, so I believe that's what it was. Here's the 1-2 from Brooks. It's a breaking ball that he left up and out. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's the second time we've seen Brooks leave that breaking ball high and outside. Just needs to get more on top of it. Here's a 2-2 from Brooks. It's a fastball by Michael Leonard. He'll go down on strikes, and it's the first out of the bottom of the first inning. And more importantly, double play ball ends the inning.
Now batting, number 3, Jermail Bailey.
We'll send the third baseman, Jermail Bailey, to the plate with 2 runners on and 1 out. He'll take ball 1 high and outside. Brooks trying to battle back from walking the first 2 batters of the first inning. Struck out Michael Leonard for the first out. Can get Bailey for the second. He takes ball 2, pretty much the exact same spot, 2-0. Two and 0 is a count on Bailey. Here's a pitch from Brooks. It's a fastball swung on and missed by Bailey. Count is now 2 balls and a strike. Bailey was a bit late on that fastball, so could see Brooks go back to it right here. He does, and Bailey was late again. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. He worked back from a 2-0 count. Two from Brooks. Fastball inside corner, strike 3 looking. Back-to-back strikeouts follow back-to-back walks to start the first inning. And suddenly, the Warriors are threatening to strand both runners on first and second. Vontrez Banks, the first baseman, will bat with 2 outs and runners on first and second. Those runners have not moved in 2 batters after both of them were walked to start the first. Banks called time before that pitch. It was granted. Brooks was holding for a bit long right there. He was checking Milburn over at second base. First pitch to Banks is high and outside, ball 1. Just realized, haven't told you the defense behind Braden Brooks. Preston Lund is the catcher behind the plate. Nico Bilgi's at third. Rob Tate's at short. Corey Mulling is at second. And Elijah Rainey's at first. Tell you the outfield after this pitch. 1-0 to Banks. Swing and a miss. Strike one. The outfield is Isaiah White, Dylan Head, and Jason Ballard, left to right. Excuse me, not Isaiah White. That's Josh Moore out and left. That's ball two. Up and out. Isaiah White started in left yesterday. He'll take a seat after being hit by a pitch. He just was walking a little bit gingerly today when I saw him. He'll be fine soon, though. Here's a 2-1 from Brooks. That's in the dirt. Good block by Lund. Milburn thought about trying to take third, but quickly scurried back to second. It's 3 balls and a strike on the first baseman, Banks. So one more ball and the bases are loaded. Here's a 3-1 to Banks. That's ball 4. So after 2 strikeouts, Brooks walks Banks. And the bases are loaded with 2 outs now in the bottom of the first inning for Marquise McClellan, the DH.
Now batting number 11, Marquise McClellan.
That one's just off the plate. Ball 1. McClellan trying to tie or potentially take the lead here in this one. Vikings scored 1 in the top of the first. Here in the bottom of the first, Warriors are threatening to score. 1-0 from Brooks. Fastball above the zone. Ball 2. Count is now 2-0. Here's a pitch to McClellan. That one's just barely out of the zone. 3 balls, no strikes. So Brooks needs to throw a strike right here, otherwise Warriors have tied it. There's strike 1. It's on the inside third of the plate. So now McClellan will have the green light. He'll be able to swing away. Here's a 3-1 from Brooks. Fastball, it's upstairs, and it's ball 4. So 4 walks in the inning, ties this ball game 1-1. Warriors still have not put a ball in play. They've gone walk, walk, strikeout, strikeout, and then walk, walk again. Sammy McCandless, the right fielder. He'll bat with the bases loaded and 2 outs still. Take ball 1 inside. 1-0. One and 0 is a count on McCandless. Take ball 2 in the dirt. Brooks comes set. Here's a 2-0 pitch. That's in there for strike 1. Brooks trying to strand 3 base runners, trying to keep this game tied going into the second. Here's a 2-1. That's in there for strike 2. McCandless has not picked the bat up off his shoulder. Brooks 1 strike away from getting out of it. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Fastball hit back to Brooks. Nico Bilgi will make the play. That one just bounced up over Brooks's glove, and Bilgi was there charging in from third base and firing to Elijah Rainey to end the bottom of the first inning. But going into the second, it's all knotted up 1-1. Zachary Hannigan back out on the mound to start this second inning. He'll face the 5, 6, 7 hitters in the Vikings lineup, starting with Elijah Rainey. Rainey went 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored yesterday against Lockport. He got the scoring started with a single to left field. He'll pop the first pitch to Banks in foul territory. He's calling for it, and he'll make the catch. That ball hung up there in the sky forever. But when it came down, it was in Vontrez Banks' glove for the first out of this top of the second.
Now batting number 31, Demir Heidelberg.
Demir Heidelberg, the DH today, will take the first pitch off the plate, ball 1. Heidelberg went 2 for 3 with an RBI yesterday. He laces that one into left field. That ball is gone. Demir Heidelberg sends one out of here on a line and gives the Vikings a 2-1 lead. That ball was just barely fair, but Demir Heidelberg has hit his second home run of the year and given the Vikings a 2-1 lead here in the top of the second. It's always nice to see for the sophomore. That ball got out of here in a hurry. It was a line drive home run that just kept on carrying. Josh Moore, the batter, will try and follow that Heidelberg home run. He squared the bunt, pulled back, as that one was about 55 feet. So now Heidelberg and Corey Mulling are both tied for fourth on the Vikings home run leaderboard with 2. 1-0 from Hannigan. It's inside. 2-0. Jason Ballard leads that home run leaderboard with 5. Dylan Head with 4. And then Rob Tate and Preston Lund with 3. And now Heidelberg with 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Moore. He squares bunt yet again. He gets it down the first base line. Hannigan's up with it, and he'll throw to Banks at first base for the second out of this second inning.
Now batting number 8, Nico Bilgi.
Nico Bilgi, the third baseman, steps in now. He went 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored yesterday. Big cut and a miss there. Bilgi has been putting some good swings on the ball recently. And he has the power to take it out to any part of the field. Here's the 0-1 from Hannigan. Tipped back into Springfield's glove. 0-2. Here's the 0-2 to Bilgi. That's on the inside corner for strike 3. Nico Bilgi strikes out, looking to end the second inning, but not before Demir Heidelberg sends a laser of a home run down the left field line and unties this one. 2-1 going into the bottom of the second. Brian Brooks still on the mound here in the bottom of the second inning. Although he had some control issues in the bottom of the first inning, the Warriors did not hit a ball past maybe 60 feet, and they only hit one, and it was the ground ball to third base that ended the first inning off the bat of Samuel McCandless. But to start the second inning, it's going to be the catcher, Kiwan Springfield. Here's the first pitch to Springfield. It's a fastball that he fouled off down the first base side. Brooks can pound the zone. He's a very effective pitcher because he has that firm fastball, but then he's also got that slow overhand curveball. 0-1 from Brooks. It's in the dirt. 1-1. One ball and no strike. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count. Here's a pitch from Brooks. That's in the dirt. Yet again, ball 2. Count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. On the leadoff man here in the second inning. Brooks trying to avoid starting the second like he did the first with a walk. But he's 1 pitch away from doing so, as that one was in the dirt for ball 3. So now 3-1 is the count on the leadoff man in the second inning, Springfield. There's ball 4. After Brooks got ahead on Springfield on an 0-1 count, then threw 4 straight balls. Now Anthony Monaghan, the left fielder.
Anthony Monaghan.
Brooks has a runner on first base and nobody out to start the second. Pickoff attempt. Springfield in safe at first. That first pitch is up and out. Now Lund will go out and chat with Brian Brooks. That was Brooks's 5th walk in just 8 batters faced. Warriors still searching for their first hit. Brooks comes set. Here's the 1-0 to Monaghan. Springfield takes off. That bunt is popped in the air. Brooks can't make the play. He'll fire to first base. And Rainey can't make the play. That one was short hopped in there. Springfield is going to be held up at third base. And as the Vikings are just throwing the ball around. And I believe that ball went inside the dugout. No, it did not go inside the dugout, so I believe Springfield is at third base and Monaghan is at first. So after that sacrifice bunt that turned into an error, the top of the order and Brent Milburn will bat.
Brent Milburn.
Milburn walked to start this one. He's got runners on the corners and nobody out in the second. He'll take strike 1 at the knees from Brooks. Long hold from Brooks. That one's fought off down the first base line. 0-2. Brooks trying to get this first out of the second inning via strikeout. He's got Milburn in an 0-2 count. Here's a pitch. Strike 3 looking. Milburn goes down on strikes. The third strikeout victim of Brian Brooks's day is the first out of the second inning. More importantly, it sends Kyle Richardson to the plate with a runner on first base and third base and 1 out. So Richardson can bounce into an inning-ending double play. There's strike 1, low and outside corner. Springfield still on third, Monaghan on first. From Brooks. Long hold. Pickoff attempt. Monaghan in safely. Here's the 0-1 to Richardson. Monaghan takes off. That one's hit in the air to left field. Josh Moore coming in on it. Springfield is going to take a few hard steps towards home. He'll put the brakes on. It's not a sac fly. Everybody stays where they are. 2 straight outs. Have the Warriors threatening to strand base runners yet again. They stranded 3 in the top of the first. Threatening to strand 2 in the second. Michael Leonard struck out for the first out of the first inning. He tips that one back. 0-1. Brooks can get out of this with a lead still. I think will sort of set the tone for how the rest of the game is going to go. First and third, nobody out into no runs. Monaghan takes off yet again. Strike 1. Throw from Lund is a pump fake. So now Brooks has an 0-2 count on Leonard. So now Monaghan is on second base. Springfield still on third. Leonard has an 0-2 count on him. Here's a pitch from Brooks. Fastball hit out into right field. Jason Ballard going over. He'll make a nice running play. That ends the bottom of the second inning. And the Warriors strand first and third, nobody outs. They do not score in the bottom of the second. So going into the third, the Vikings are still up 2-1. Zachary Hannigan will face the 9-1-2 hitters for the Vikings this inning. Top of the third will start with Rob Tate. The shortstop is the 9-hole hitter for the Vikings. Tate went 0 for 3 yesterday against Lockport, but was still able to drive in a run. First pitch from Hannigan is inside for ball 1. Tate can get on. That'll set up Dylan Head nicely to extend the Vikings' lead. Tate takes ball 2 in the dirt. Two balls and no strikes is the count on Tate. Here's a pitch from Hannigan. It's a fastball inside. Tate had to jump out of the way of that one. 3-0. So Tate trying to work a leadoff walk. Hasn't been thrown a strike yet. 3-0 pitch to Tate. Is in there at the knees for strike 1. Still a long way to go for Hannigan. Here's a 3-1 pitch to Tate. He sends one out into left field. That ball is carrying and is gone. Rob Tate hits his 4th home run of the year. He gets in on the home run party. It's 3-1 Vikings in the top of the third. That one was more of a fly ball homer, unlike Demir Heidelberg's, who was more of a line drive. That one hung up there forever, and when it came down, it went over the scoreboard and over the fence.
Now batting number 1, Dylan Head.
So now Dylan Head will bat with nobody on and nobody out. But he has a 2-run lead to work with now. So now Tate and Head are tied for second place on the Vikings home run leaderboard, both with 4. Head lines that one into right field. That ball was smoked. It wasn't a line drive, it was a ground ball, but still smoked. That's his first hit of the day. He reached on an error by Samuel McCandless in right field.
Now batting number 9, Corey Mullen.
Corey Mulling drove him in after that error in the first on a sac fly to left field. Now Springfield's going to go out and talk to Hannigan. Back-to-back hits to start the third for the Vikings. Head stole his 20th base of the season in just 12 games yesterday. Mulling takes strike 1 at the top of the zone. Head has had a few games where he's been stolen base less, but he's also had a few games where he's stolen 4 or 5. There's ball 1 upstairs to Mulling. Evens a count and a ball and a strike. That's the best thing about Head, is that if he gets on base, it's pretty much a guarantee that he's going to steal at least 1 base. He takes off right here, pitches outside to Mulling, and Dylan Head is in there with his 21st stolen base of the year. That ball was outside to Mulling, so it's 2-1. He's got a runner in scoring position now. That 2-1 is grounded into left field. Dylan Head is going to be held up at third base as that ball was hit so hardly. So hard that Head wasn't able to round third and score before Anthony Monaghan out in left field had the ball and was already throwing home. But back-to-back singles have the Vikings with runners on the corners and nobody out for Jason Ballard.
Now batting number 5,
Ballard grounded to
Jason
first
Ballard.
in the first. That first pitch is way high and outside. 1-0. Monaghan comes set. Here's a 1-0. That's in the dirt. Ball 2. Monaghan seems to be looking in his dugout a lot. I don't know if he's looking for signs or something, but he's staring in there pretty often. That 2-0's in the dirt yet again. 3 balls and no strikes. So Vikings 1 pitch away from loading the bases for Preston Lund. Here's a 3-0 pitch to Ballard. That's up and out, and Jason Ballard adds to his team leading 20 walks. That's his 21st. And more importantly, the bases are loaded for Preston Lund. Lund has 3 home runs on the year. Now would be the best time for his 4th. And now a Crete-Monee coach will come out of the dugout to meet with Hannigan in Springfield. With the bases juiced in the 3rd inning.
Tacos and nachos and etc. This is cash only. I repeat, cash only. Thank you.
Bit of an extended meeting on the mound. Now it seems to be coming to an end. When it ends, Preston Lund will bat with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 3rd. The Vikings already have a 2-run lead. They can add a lot more right here. Rally is nowhere near close to over. First pitch to Lund is a ball upstairs, 1-0. That's 5 straight balls from Hannigan. Walk Ballard on 4 straight, and there's the first pitch ball to Preston. 1-0 from Hannigan. It's in the dirt, ball 2. Make it 6. A walk is as good as a hit in this situation. It drives in a run. Here's a 2-0. That's below the zone yet again, 3-0. One strike away from walking in their 4th run of the day, the Vikings are. Here's a 3-0 from Hannigan. It's in the dirt, and outside it's ball 4. Dylan Head scores from 3rd. Corey Malling moves up to 3rd, Ballard to 2nd, and Lund to 1st. Back-to-back walks on 8 straight pitches. And the Vikings have scored 2 in this inning, and that looks like it's going to be it for Hannigan. So the new pitcher will come in with the bases loaded and nobody out to face Elijah Rainey. So as Hannigan steps out, so will we. Only difference is we'll be back. The new pitcher in the game for the Crete-Monee Warriors is Dylan D. D will inherit the bases loaded and nobody out for the first baseman Elijah Rainey. Rainey popped in foul territory to the first baseman Vontrez Banks.
Elijah Rainey.
That was his only at-bat of the day so far. He'll have a chance to blow this game wide open. As he watches first pitch strike from D. Chris Webb is the courtesy runner for Preston Lund on first base. Here's the 0-1 to Rainey. Skipped, and Corey Mulling is going to score as that one's in the dirt. And now Jason Ballard is going to score himself. So 2 free runs for the Vikings on just 1 pitch. And now the bases are no longer loaded. Only runner on base is Chris Webb at second base. Mulling scored. Ballard scored. It's 6-1 now, and Rainey swings through that pitch from D, 1-2. Rainey has a chance to make it 7 or even 8-1. Here's a 1-2. It's in the dirt yet again. Chris Webb is going to be moved up 90 feet. So the second wild pitch of Dylan D's outing, and second in Elijah Rainey's at bat, has moved up runners 180 feet as Chris Webb moved from first to third without Rainey even putting a ball in play. Rainey sends that one on the ground to Milburn at short. He'll make the play, but it's a run-scoring ground out for Elijah Rainey, and the Vikings' lead is now 6. Demir Heidelberg, the man who homered down the left field line, will bat. Vikings haven't had a multi-home run game. There's strike 1 to Heidelberg. If anybody can do it, it's definitely Heidelberg. When he gets hot, he gets hot. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's outside. 1-1. Home run here would put him and Preston Lund tied for third place on the home run leaderboard. That one's upstairs, ball 2. If I can still only have 1 out in this inning. Rally is nowhere near over. 2-1. It's off the plate. Ball 3. Heidelberg just trying to get on, start a new rally. Nobody with the bases empty. Here's a 3-1 pitch from D. Pops that one foul. Heidelberg was definitely looking to be the first multi-home run player for the Vikings. So the count is now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the third. He sends that one on the ground to Milburn at short. And he'll make the play, as he did with Elijah Rainey, last batter. It's the second out of the top of the third inning. Josh Moore bunted back to the pitcher last time. He was only out by maybe a half a step, maybe a bit more. Here's a first pitch from D. It's on the outside corner, strike 1. Oh, 1 to Moore. Flied down the right field line. Out of play foul. 0-2. So now D threatening to get 3 batters out in a row, but not before the Vikings scored the 3 runners that were on base when he came to the mound. Here's the 0-2 to Moore. It's below the zone. Ball 1. Here's a 1-2 to Moore. Just off the plate, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Springfield tried as hard as he could to pull that one back in. Tried to frame it, get Moore to K looking. But here's a 2-2. Moore sends one out into left field. That's going to be caught by Michael Leonard out there in left center field. But the Vikings, they score 5 in the top of the third and going into the bottom of the third. It's a 7-1 ball game. Brian Brooks out on the mound here in the bottom of the third inning. He's only allowed 1 run so far. Warriors still searching for their first hit. He worked around 2 leadoff base runners in the second inning, was able to settle down and get 3 straight outs to strand those runners. He'll face Jermail Bailey, the third baseman, who he struck out in the first inning.
Now batting, number 3, Jermail Bailey.
Here's the first pitch to Bailey. That's up and out. Ball 1. We don't see this too often where a team has scored their first run before their first hit, but 4 walks in the first inning has given the Warriors exactly that. That's strike 1 at the knees. Good pitch there from Brooks. 1-1. Here's a 1-1. Swing and a miss from Bailey. 1-2. Brooks 1 strike away from sending Bailey back to the dugout via the strikeout for the second time today. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball above the zone. Ball 2. That one was just a bit up. If he had gotten a little bit more on top of that, would have either induced a swing and miss or a strike 3. So that one's fouled back, keeping the count at 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes to still the count. Here's a pitch from Brooks. Fastball just below the zone, ball 3. Might have been a little bit off the plate. Preston did everything he could to steal a strike for Brooks right there, but it was just a bit off the plate. Here's a full count pitch from Brooks. Fouled back. Bailey battling well here to lead off the third. Here's the full count pitch from Brooks. Just barely tipped foul yet again. Bailey hanging on for dear life to this at-bat. Here's the 3-2 from Brooks. It's below the zone. Bailey works a great at-bat into a leadoff walk in the bottom of the third. And Vontrez Banks, who was also walked in the first, will bat with a man on first base and nobody out.
Now batting, number 7, Vontrez Banks.
Pickoff attempt. Bailey dives in safely. Bailey didn't appear to get the best read on that move from Brooks. He was still standing while Brooks was in the middle of his throwing motion over to first base. So I wouldn't be shocked if Bailey is picked off more than a few times. Banks calls time, as Brooks was holding and looking over there at Bailey for a while. Here's the first pitch to Banks. It's a fastball up and out, ball 1. Trent Roseborough got warm in the first inning. He hasn't been sent back down to the bullpen yet. Pickoff attempt in safely is Bailey. That 1-0 pitch is fouled back. Count is even. Ball and a strike. Brooks has done a good job of limiting contact. The only hard hit ball was a fly ball to right field that Jason Ballard was able to track down. Other than that, it's been pretty weak contact for the Warriors. Takes off. Bailey did. He'll stand on second base after that one got away from Preston Lund, as that ball was a little bit too high as well. So the count is 2-1. Bailey has a stolen base on the day. There's a 2-1 pitch to Banks. It's upstairs yet again. 3 balls and a strike. Brooks has walked the leadoff batter in every single inning so far. Try not to have it be like the first where he walked the first 2. Swing and a miss. 3-2. Getting the first out right here would be big. As you work back. Here's a 3-2 pitch from Brooks. Swing and a miss. Banks goes down swinging for the first out of the third inning. And the 4th strikeout of Brian Brooks' game. Sends Marquise McClellan to the plate. McClellan is walked against Brooks today. He'll bat with Jermail Bailey on second base and 1 out in the bottom of the third. Warriors are still chasing 6. Got a long way to go before they want to be back in this one. Pickoff attempt. Bailey is out! A perfect throw from Brian Brooks picks off Jermail Bailey at second base, and a good tag by Corey Mulling. And just like that, there's 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Nobody out. I mean, from nobody out to a runner, from nobody out and a runner on second base to 2 outs and nobody on in just 1 pitch. As McClellan sends that one out into right field. Ballard over, and he'll make the catch to end a 1-2-3, not exactly 1-2-3, but 3 batter bottom of the third inning for Brian Brooks. Going into the 4th, the Vikings still hold a 7-1 lead over the Warriors. Dylan D back out on the bump for the Warriors in the top of the 4th inning. He'll face the 8-9 and then top of the order for the Vikings, starting with Nico Bilgi. Bilgi struck out looking to end the 2nd inning. Bilgi is the only strikeout that the Vikings have today. First pitch from D. It's at the knees, strike 1. Oh, 1 to Bilgi. It's in the dirt and outside. 1-1. There's 1-1 to Bilgi. In the dirt. Ball 2. The sun is coming out here in Crete after most of the game has been overcast. The sun is now shining. Here's a 2-1 to Bilgi. He lines that one right back up the middle, and that's going to be a leadoff single for Nico Bilgi. He continues to put good swings on the ball. He's rewarded with a single.
Now batting, number 2, Robert Tate.
Rob Tate homered to left field in his first and only at-bat today. It was a fly ball that just hung up there forever. He fouled out first pitch from D-back, 0-1. That was the Vikings' first run of an eventual 5-run 3rd inning.
Back to baseball. Know what you're doing with it?
Fouled back yet again, 0-2. So now D ahead in the count, 0-2 on Tate. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball. Tate sends that one into the outfield.
No tag! No tag!
And Michael Leonard makes a catch in center field. That ball was up in the sky forever, but it was not nearly as well hit as his home run in the 3rd.
Batting, number 1, Dylan Head.
Now it turns the lineup card over for Dylan Head, who singled to right on a hard hit ground ball. He takes ball 1 from D in the dirt. Head has scored twice today. Once off of a Corey Mulling sac fly, the other off of a Preston Lund bases loaded walk. Head smacks that one down the left field line. If it stays fair, it's gone. And fair and gone. Dylan Head plates the 8th and 9th runs of the Vikings' day on a curving fly ball that just barely hooks inside the foul pole. And he and Jason Ballard are now tied with 5 home runs atop the Vikings' home run standings. That ball was hit a mile, and I'm sure Trent Roseborough, who's warming up in the bullpen down the right field line, will tell you better than anybody that that ball was fair. And I'm sure he can retrieve that ball if Head wants it. Corey Mulling takes a ball low. The 3rd home run of the Vikings' day. Here's a 1-0 to Mulling. That's on the outside corner, strike 1. One pitch from D. The breaking ball that Mulling taps foul down the 3rd baseline, 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes is the count on Mulling. Just off the plate, 2-2. Still only 1 out in the 4th inning. Vikings only need 2 more runs, and then the mercy rule comes into play. That 2-2 is fouled off by Mulling. Two balls and 2 strikes is still the count on Mulling. Here's a pitch from D. It's a breaking ball that Mulling smacks into right field. McCandless was able to knock it down. I'm not sure he saw it all the way, but he was able to get a body on it. Corey Mulling has his second hit of the day. He sends Jason Ballard to the plate with a runner on first base and 1 out. Ballard walked, and that scored a run in the third. He takes ball 1. He scored on a wild pitch from D that he was actually on second base on when the pitch was thrown, but then some good aggressive base running played at him from second. Takes ball 2 off the plate. And I'm sure with all these home runs being hit today, Jason Ballard wants to get in on that party. He no longer holds the title of most home runs on the Vikings team. That one's in the dirt. Ball 3. I doubt he has a green light right here, but if he does, he's going to try and send one into the trees beyond the left field fence. 3-0 pitch. That's in there for strike 1, so now he'll have the green light. He'll be able to swing away. Here's a 3-1 pitch to Ballard. Outside corner, strike 2. So now D has worked back from a 3-0 count to a 3-2 count on Ballard. Here's a full count pitch. Ballard fights that one off. Right field line. Almost hit his second car in as many days, but thankfully it did not. He dented the roof of a car yesterday at Lockport. That's ball 4 outside. It's Jason Ballard's second walk of today. And it sends Corey Mulling to second base. 1 out in the inning for Preston Lund, who also walked his last time up. Lund was the last batter to face the starter Zachary Hannigan before D took over. First pitch to Lund. Just off the plate, ball 1. Lund drew a bases loaded walk. That scored 1 last inning. He'll take ball 2 in the dirt yet again. Good block by Springfield right there to keep Mulling and Ballard where they are at second and first. Count is 2-0 on Lund. Here's a pitch from D. It's upstairs. Ball 3. Count is 3 balls and no strikes to the catcher Lund. Here's a pitch from D. Lund takes strike 1. Yeah, the take sign on all the way. Three balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the 4th. There's strike 2. That one gets away. Mulling was stealing anyway. Ballard moves up 90 feet on the pass ball. So now the count is full, 3-2 on Preston Lund. He's got 2 runners in scoring position now. Mulling on third, Ballard on second. Here's a full count pitch to Lund. Off the plate, ball 4. His second walk of the day, loads the bases yet again for Elijah Rainey, who is 0 for 2. But he has the power to send the Vikings' 4th home run of the day.
Elijah Rainey.
Rainey grounded to short his last time up. It scored a run for the Vikings. The Vikings have scored 2 since then, thanks to Dylan Head's 2-run home run down the right field line. Here's the first pitch to Elijah. It's ball 1. Upstairs. One to Rainey. He smacks one. Goodbye, baseball. Oh, I called that one prematurely. The Vikings are still going to score 2. I called that one way too early. It's a 2-out. Thought was hit way harder. It clanged about 3 feet off the fence. If he had done 2 more push-ups, it would have been a home run, a grand slam for the Vikings. But more importantly, it's a 2 RBI double, and the Vikings' lead is up to 10. Mulling scored, and Ballard scored. Lund moved up to second.
Now batting number 31, Demir Heidelberg.
Demir Heidelberg, who is 1 for 2 today with a home run. He takes ball 1 upstairs. Count is 1 ball and no strikes on Heidelberg. He pops one. Coming in on it. He'll make the catch. Preston Lund's going to try and tag. And he will, and score from third, plating the Vikings' 12th run of the day. Some good aggressive base running. The Vikings' lead is now 11.
Now batting number 6, Josh Moore.
Josh Moore will bat with Elijah Rainey in scoring position. Moore's 0 for 2 today. He flied to center his last time out. He ended the 3rd inning. So the Vikings have now batted around. They've sent all 9 hitters to the plate in the 4th. Moore takes strike 1 from D. Here's the Rainey stays at second. That one skipped away from Springfield. One pitch to Moore is popped foul and out of play. Count is a ball and 2 strikes on Josh Moore. Here's a pitch from D. Tipped foul. Still 1 and 2. Trying to score Rainey from second. Extend the inning to Nico Bilgi, who already has a hit in this inning. He singled to center to start it. Moore taps one to third base. The throw is in time. So that is going to end the 4th inning, but not before the Vikings score 5. They're up 12-1 now going into the bottom of the 4th inning. Vikings have made a few defensive replacements here in the bottom of the fourth inning. One of them including the pitcher, Trent Roseborough, relieves starter Brian Brooks. Nate Locker is the new catcher behind the plate, and Jacob Gunn is the new shortstop. Here in the fourth inning, Trent Roseborough will fire a pitch to Sammy McCandless, and he'll ground it to Corey Mulling, who makes the first play of this bottom of the fourth inning. One pitch, one out for Roseborough.
Now batting, number 5, Kewan Springfield.
Kewan Springfield, the catcher, walked in his only time to the plate in the second. He sends one past the dive of Nico Bilgi. Springfield is going to be held up at first base. And unfortunately, that is the first Warriors hit of the day. Vikings had thrown 3 1/3 no-hit innings, and we're a few outs away from throwing a combined no-hitter. But I'm sure they will be just fine with the win. Now Anthony Monaghan, who reached on an error his first time up, will bat. He taps that one on the ground to Bilgi at third. His only play is going to be to first. And it's a great play by Nico Bilgi. Good strong throw across the diamond. There's 2 outs now in the fourth. For the top of the order in Bren Milburn. Milburn has walked and struck out today. Roseborough can get through this inning pretty quickly. He throws ball 1, and that one gets away from Locker, and Springfield moves up 90 feet to third base. Count is 1-0 on Milburn. Milburn skies one, shallow right field. Rainey calling for it. He'll make the play to end the fourth inning. So going in to the top of the fifth inning, the Vikings have an 11-run lead over the Crete-Monee Warriors. Leading off here in the top of the fifth inning is going to be Nico Bilgi.
For the Warriors, number 23, Ryan Bartling.
He'll face new pitcher for the Warriors, Ryan Bartling, relieves Dylan D. Bartling is the third pitcher that the Warriors have used today.
Now batting, number 8, Nico Bilgi.
Bilgi singled to center on a very hard hit ball in the fourth. He'll send one out into center field. Leonard going back on it, and he'll make a play, running back. Nice play by the center fielder, Michael Leonard. to start this top of the 5th inning.
Now batting, number 12, Jacob Gunn.
Pinch hitting for the Vikings in Rob Tate's spot. Jacob Gunn will bat. He'll pop the first pitch in foul territory. Long run for Banks. He can't make the play. It falls. And now Coach McCarthy looking to just take all of his starters out with an 11-run lead. Luke Griggs waits on deck in Dylan Head's place. Strike 2, inside corner to Gunn. Hartling has a 0-2 count on Jacob Gunn. Here's a pitch. Breaking ball, strike 3 looking. Gunn goes down on strikes. It sends Luke Griggs to the plate with nobody on and 2 outs.
Now batting, number 0, Luke Griggs.
First pitch to Griggs. There's a ball off the plate. If Hartling goes 1-2-3, he would be the first Warriors pitcher to have an inning under 4 batters since the first inning, where starter Zachary Hannigan only faced 4 batters but still allowed a run. And Griggs hits one foul down the third base line, just barely, maybe by about 4 or 5 inches. Count is now a ball and a strike on him. One and 1 is the count on Griggs. He taps that one on the ground to Richardson at second. He'll make the play, and it's a 1-2-3 top of the 5th inning. So going into the bottom of the 5th inning, Vikings need just 3 outs and less than 2 runs scored. And the ball game will be over due to mercy rule. Trent Roseboro trying to close things out for the Vikings here in the 5th.
Number 2, Kyle Richardson.
He'll face Kyle Richardson. Richardson has walked and flied to left today. Fouls that first pitch back, 0-1. Some more defensive replacements. Luke Griggs comes in the game to right field, and Terrence Stewart comes in the game for center. That's ball 1 upstairs. One from Roseboro. Hit into right field past the reach of Corey Malling. It's a leadoff single for Kyle Richardson here in the 5th. Michael Leonard is 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a flyout.
Leonard.
First pitch from Roseboro. Out of play down the first base line. Pickoff attempt, and actually Roseboro just stepped off. He didn't actually throw over to try and catch Richardson off first base. Count is still 0-1 on Leonard. That one's low and out. 1-1. Is lined foul down the third base line. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Warriors trying to plate 2, keep this game alive for at least another inning. Here's a 1-2 pitch from Roseboro. Below the zone, it gets away from Locker. Richardson moves up 90 feet to second. Big turn. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes on Leonard. Roseboro needs to just focus on getting Leonard. That run over there on second base doesn't exactly matter. Just barely got a piece of that one. Still 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. Richardson on second. Pitch from Roseboro. Check swing, yes he did. Leonard goes down on strikes for the first out of the 5th inning. Jermail Bailey is 0 for 1 today with a walk.
Jermail Bailey.
He was picked off in the 3rd inning by Brian Brooks. That was the 2nd out of the 3rd. Another pickoff attempt to second. Richardson in safe. Here's the first pitch from Roseboro. Popped foul, 0-1. Bailey struck out looking in his first at-bat in the 1st. 0-1 pitch from Roseboro. In there for strike 2. So 2 pitches, 2 strikes from Roseboro. 0-2 is the count on Bailey. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Roseboro. That one's upstairs. 1-2. Trent Roseboro still up in the count. Ball and 2 strikes. Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Trent Roseboro. Have the first 2 outs of this bottom of the 5th inning. And now Vontrez Banks trying to keep the game alive for the Warriors. He's walked and struck out today. First pitch is actually a pickoff attempt. Richardson did not even need to go back to the base as Roseboro didn't even throw the ball. First pitch fouled down the right field line, out of play. was just getting new balls to the umpire. So we have some now. 0-1 is the count on Vontrose Banks. Pickoff attempt. Richardson able to dive in safe at second. Vikings need just 2 strikes to end this one. Here's the 0-1. Inside, 1-1. One pitch from Roseboro. Swing and a miss. Banks came up empty on that one. So now the Vikings 1 strike away from coming out with their 2nd straight win. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Banks. Top of the zone, strike 3 looking. Roseboro strikes out 3 in the 5th inning. And that's how this one's going to end. The Vikings win 12-1 over the Crete-Monee Warriors. They play Lane Tech tomorrow at 1 p.m. That game will not be broadcast, unfortunately. Homewood-Flossmoor is now 11-11, back to 500 on the year. Crete-Monee is now 10-6. So the Vikings looking to start a win streak, if you can call it. If 2 is a win streak, then they've already started it. But if 3 is a win streak, then they're going to look to start one tomorrow against Lane Tech. It's at Lane Tech. So the Vikings run rule the Crete-Monee Warriors 12-1 in 5 innings. So for everybody here at the HF Viking baseball program, I'm Dylan Barnes. Have a great night, everybody.